Well, hello there. Somehow you have punched the wrong buttons and ended up at Mr. E's Mysteries and Magics. And so as long as you're here, you might as well stick around for the video, which is brought to you by RP Magic Shop in Ludlow, Massachusetts. Please check them out. Website, link below. All right, so this video is going to be any card at any number as long as the number is 19. Okay, so how am I going to do that? Well, this is how we do it with a magic grid. You know what a magic grid is? Well, this is one right here. Now, the ABC really is just an identifier. You can use any three-letter thing you want up there. The word cat, dog, fun, I don't care. Anything other than numbers, because you have numbers down here. You really shouldn't put 1, 2, 3 up here. But ABC, D, E, F, whatever. Like I said, any three-letter word up here would work just fine as well. So, how does this work? Well, you hand this to your spectator and you tell them, please pick out a column. And they will say A, B, or C. And we will assume for the sake of argument that they pick column C. And then, okay, under column C, please pick one of the three numbers. And let's say they pick number 5. So you take some kind of marker, and I'm going to use green for the numbers that are chosen, and I am going to use red for the numbers that we are going to cross off. And what numbers are we going to cross off? Well, what you do is you cross off every number in the column that has not been chosen and every number in the row that corresponds to that particular chosen number. Okay, so you can see we've marked off 4 different numbers. Now, you have 2 columns to choose from. Please pick one. Let's say they pick column A. Which one do you want to choose from column A? You have 2 choices, the 9 or the 2. Let's say they pick the 9. Okay, so we put a circle around the 9. Now, you don't have to use markers like this. I'm just using red and green to make it easy to show up on the video. So again, after you've chosen your number, you take the remaining number in the row, cross it off, or actually in the column, and then the remaining number in the row. And you cross that off as well. Okay, so now you can see that we have just one number left, and that would be the 5 under the B. So we simply put a circle around that. And we add up those 3 numbers. 5 and 5 is 10, and 9 is 19. Whoa, that's amazing, Mr. E. How did you do that? Well, let's take another handy-dandy magic grid, and this is actually the very same magic grid, and try that again, only using different numbers. And yes, I did cut these magic grids with my nifty doodle Fiskars 9-inch supercut paper trimmer. Didn't do it exactly perfectly to size because it doesn't really matter. So let's take another one. Now let's see, the last time we took 5 on the C. This time we will try 12 on the B. So you circle the B somehow with whatever item you have to circle it with, a pen, pencil, what have you. Cross off the 2 other remaining items in that row. Cross off the 2 other remaining items in that column. And then say, all right, you need to choose something from either column A or column C. Well, let's see. Let's try column C this time, and let's go for the 3. So we circle the 3, and we cross off this 5, and we cross off that 2, leaving us only with the 4 under column A. Okay, now those are the 3 numbers that were chosen totally at random by your choice. This is, of course, what you're telling the spectator. And that number comes out to 12 plus 4 is 16 plus 3 is 19. Yes, indeed. No matter what three numbers you choose, as long as you cross off the other numbers in the rows and columns that are not chosen, it will add up to 19, any which way you choose. Doesn't matter, okay? This is a magic grid. This will always add up to 19 as long as you remember to cross off the unchosen numbers in each row and column. And you'll always end up, of course, with 1 at the end that will have be the only open number left, and of course you will circle that one. Okay, that's how this works. I'm going to put these numbers in the description below. I'm not going to force you to try to write these numbers down. If you're interested in using this, you could, and I'll leave this up here for now, but you will be able to just jot the numbers down from the description box. Now, there are a few things about this that you could do. You could change some of these numbers, like by subtracting 1, in which case you have to subtract 1 from every single number on every single row and column, and your final number will not be 19, it will be 16. You could subtract 2, and then your number would become 13 instead of 19 or 16. I wouldn't like to do that because the smallest number here is 2. And so that means that this number would become 0. And, personal preference, I just would prefer not to do that. You really don't want to get into anything lower than that. Subtracting 3, you end up with a negative number where the 2 used to be. Okay, so you really don't want to do that. 19 is kind of a nifty number. If you really want 16, you can go for it because it is a little bit less than 19. It's easier to get to. However, keep this in mind. If you're using a Svengali deck, your key card is always at an odd numbered position. So if you want to use 16, you have to go to the 16th card and then show them the 17th card. Personally, if I'm using something like this, I would prefer to use the number as given by the grid, which would be 19. In other words, you go right to the 19th card, you show them that card off the Svengali deck, and that is going to be always your key card because it's an odd number, obviously. All right, now the other thing you can do on the other end of this is if you want, you can add up to 11 numbers. And again, you have to remember, if you're going to add 11 numbers to one box, you have to add 11 numbers to all of the other 8 boxes. All right, yeah, the boxes are imaginary here, but you have to add 11 to every number in the entire grid. And that would bring you up to 52 if you wanted to do that many. If you wanted to add 1 to here instead of 19, you'd have 22. If you add 2 to it, to each of these numbers, you would have, 25, so on and so forth. And you can play around with these numbers as much as you want. But that's the magic grid of number 19. Any card at any number, so long as it's number 19, and that is how you can direct your spectators to the 19th card in a deck that you've already chosen for them. And believe me, no matter what trick you go into from there, doing something like this that makes them believe that it is totally random and that the number is completely coming out of the blue will always leave them baffled.